So I'm welcome to this session, which I'm really, really excited about, actually. This is probably my absolute favorite topic in the entire application process. I really do believe, and I've seen a million times, how critical it can actually be in getting you in and really making you stand out and differentiating. So let me go to a little bit about me. I've been doing this for quite a long time now, a little more than 8 years. I've got more than 100 admits to all the global top 20, including M7s and all the best European schools. So I love working with both Americans, and I have a kind of specialization in international students. So if you're international, absolutely get in touch. Also with the international schools. So it's kind of both directions. If you're American trying to apply to international schools, that's another kind of expertise. And I'm also living internationally. I'm speaking to you right now from Albania. I don't know, anyone been to Albania by any chance? Not so many people visiting, but I highly, highly recommend. It's an amazing country. And I've had terrific results, basically been able to get every client that was targeting, most are targeting top 20, and had almost 100% success with them. And when we go out to the top 30, then I've had success with every full service client. So moving on, let me go to the kind of agenda here. So I did this event one time last year. It was actually my very first event when I joined. I have my own private consultancy with my wife that we've been running for that 8 years. And interesting fact, she's actually joining the platform as well with me today. So we're a husband and wife team, and clients are going to start, even on Leland, being able to work with us together. It's kind of a 2-for-1. And I did this in July, roughly, of last year, very first event on Leland, and I met Howard, who is going to became a client after this, and as well as Alana. And Alana was the featured guest at that time. So in this case, I've decided to feature 2 candidates, and Alana ended up working together, and she's now making a decision between European schools right now. So let me see, what else do I want to make sure I hit now? So basically, I'm going to start with kind of an overview of the methods and kind of resources, and then the large document that you're going to, kind of be seeing pieces of, which is, like your MBA research document. It's kind of trying to envision your entire journey through the program. And then we're going to jump into our case specific examples, where I'm going to let Shale and Sarah introduce themselves and share some of what they've already learned. I will emphasize, we only started working together less than a week ago, so they're at the very, very early stages of that. So don't ask them any of the toughest possible questions. And so let me just start by asking everyone, how important do you feel school research and networking is in the process? Anyone want to just jump in? Feel free to come off mic. And like I said, I encourage people to put your cameras on if you're comfortable. So how important is? What do you think? And maybe why? Nobody? Okay. All right.
I'll go. I'll go.
Great. Go for it.
Yeah, I think I've been to a few webinars now, and it seems like networking is super important. The reason being, you get an idea of what the program is like outside of get your online research. Like, you could be talking to people, alums, they could have a different experience to people that are doing the program at the moment. So just more insight than Google, I guess.
Much more, right? Yes. I think you're definitely on the right track. Basically, you want to be kind of thinking of your past, present, and future, and kind of trying to tie everything together. And many applicants just kind of go to the surface level when they're researching. They just try and kind of get enough information that they can kind of put things together. And it's the one thing that you can do better than other people, kind of almost without a doubt. You can't change your stats. You can't change any of the facts on that exist at the moment that you're applying, but you can do deeper research, you can network more, and then you'll be able to really, really, really explain specifically to each school exactly why you are a perfect fit for each other. And I've been doing a lot of interviews also with school administrators and directors of admissions. And I did one not too long ago with this Tomo. He's one of the directors of ESA's admissions department. And I really pushed him on this question of, you're in the room, the AdCom is debating over two people. They feel they're equal. How do you make the call? And what he came down to was, who had shown the most love? Like, who did they really believe was the most excited about the program and had really done the most work to kind of demonstrate that. So many things that are important to do, but the most important thing really is to know your story, right? All this research is great, but if you don't know yourself and you don't know your story and you don't understand your goals, it won't link together, right? Everything you're going to do in the research and networking is meant to explain exactly how the MBA program fits into that puzzle, right? So where you're coming from, your past, and where you're trying to go, those are your goals, and exactly how this school's MBA is going to propel you to successfully achieve those goals. So with the document, I'm going to show a bit later, the kind of way I like to say to think about it is, go to the school and go through their entire curriculum, and you're going to map that out. This is kind of the easiest way to kind of get the big picture. So, it's just really easy. Every school, go to their curriculum, go to the calendar. So, 2-year program, okay, first term, first year, this, second term, third term, etc. And you're looking at everything that is available at each period and trying to identify what are all of the things in the program at each of those stages that you're going to benefit from and that you're going to be able to contribute to, right? So that's the kind of overall idea. And if you do that, you're also going to really learn, is this the right program for you? Many people have the big names and you say, okay, I want to go to HBS or whatever. And sometimes when you really do your research, you realize, yeah, it's a huge brand name, but it's not right truly for you. I've got one client now who's switching from targeting HBS to Haas because it's just a much clearer match for her. So don't get stuck on the rankings, certainly either. So let me go on. So as far as the kind of general resources, not too difficult to kind of figure out. But you start with the most basic, the surface level, the website, look for blogs, faculty, this kind of thing, getting engaged with staff. Go to all of the events you possibly can and try and engage and let them know that you exist in some way, if possible, in those events. Ask a question. The more you do that, they make notes and they will start noticing that you started coming 9 months before applying or whatever it is, and you have that like long-term kind of track record. Reaching out to current students and alumni is incredibly important and incredibly powerful. I'm going to talk more detail about this later, but I can't stress enough what you can accomplish by really connecting with a lot of people, and I'll talk more about kind of who to target later. Obviously, you've got lots of great forums. If you don't already know, GMAT Club, ClearMed, Ports and Quants, of course, Leland. And then we get into a real interesting area now, right? Where it was not too long ago, it would have just been search, I'd be saying. So, okay, you're after this kind of career switch, you want to see what they have as far as entrepreneurship. So you're Googling this program, entrepreneurship, whatever. Now step into present day where we have, AI just getting better and better every kind of moment. And this is actually a good use of AI and ChatGPT and all of the other available options. When you get into like writing your essays and some of these kind of things, at this point, it's not that great, right? There's lots of ways you can use it to help you, but you want to write your own essays, right? You need to develop your own voice, all of those kind of things. But at the research stage, in this case with Shale and Sarah, because we only had the 1 week, I actually had them complete the initial parts of the research document, which gave me all of their kind of profile, and then worked with AI to expedite the process for them, to give them a really nice list of kind of target resources that they could then begin researching. So you can use it, but only as a jumping off point, because you need to dig in yourself and really come to understand these programs. You won't remember anything and be able to communicate on the fly if you're just, trusting AI. So that's a tip. So as I said, in the document, you're going to have an overview. I am going to share the template to anyone who would like this after the event. I put in the chat already my link to my profile. So just message me and I'm happy to share the entire template to help you get started with this. And as I said, you're going to kind of really try and look stage by stage. And then the key things you're looking at is, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the things I can contribute? What are the things I can gain? And then developing that roadmap, right? So you are then, with all that information, you can kind of map out, now I can see myself going through each of the years, each of the terms. This is an experiential program that's going to be key to my development. This is a trek or an exchange program or a club, whatever it might be. And when you get to writing the applications and the interviews, you're going to be able to speak. Again, you're going to hear me say specific and specifically a lot, but you're going to say, my goal is to do X. And at INSEAD, there are 3 key ways that I'm going to be able to do that. And you're going to list 3 unique to INSEAD components as your kind of starting point. And they can then grill you and ask you more and more questions. And if you follow my kind of advice and process, you will know it so well, you'll be excited for them to ask more. And you'll then keep connecting, yes, I've really been weak at public speaking, and I'm so excited about, this specific event that the consulting club throws. And I've already talked to the current, president of the club. And he said he thought I would be perfect to to run this event, whatever it might be. And like I said, just making sure that the school is exactly the school that you want to go to. Okay, so now we're going to start getting into talking about the actual case studies we've got here. So we're going to start with Shale, who's been kind enough to be our first kind of guinea pig. So Shale, could you go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of walk us through your background and your goals?
Yeah. So hello everyone. I am Shell. I am speaking from India. So over the tenure of my corporate life, I have always been associated with processes, operations, and customers. Right now, I am working as an investment operations associate at Fidelity. And my short-term goal is to transition into the strategy side and and I think consulting will really help me kick in. And my midterm goal is because my long term goal is going into the edtech sector and really building pathways for non-STEM specifically students and hopefuls. That goes backwards to my midterm goal, which is to be a director of strategy and ops in a edtech company, which finally would translate into my long term goal. And yes, I'm happy to be here. And thank you, Jess.
Thanks very much, Shale. And so let me just show you first. This is a kind of a snapshot of where Shale's research document is at currently. and it's really just begun. So this is going to get much, much longer. I think Alana's ended up being like 30 pages. Some of that is lining up lists of people and that kind of thing. So it's not going to be a million words, but this will get really, really detailed as you progress through your research. Shale, I'd like to now talk about what, from your initial research, only having this week so far, what are you really hoping to gain from your MBA experience? And maybe you can highlight some of the things that you've already kind of listed here.
Yes. So from my MBA experience, I'm trying to gain, the strategy side of the work and really go big into the leadership role. And as my target school is INSEAD, I would like to talk from that perspective. As we all know that INSEAD is the global business of the world, as they say. And not only that, it's the consulting powerhouse. I think it's the second number in the world. It's recruiting a lot into consulting. And as I want to go to consulting, INSEAD is obviously my hot shot. And through INSEAD, because I would want to really go deep into the PLDP program, which is their very specific personal leadership development program. As I said, that I want to transition from operations to the strategy side of the business. PLDP will really help me inculcate that in me. In PLDP, it is first, the course is like very special because it starts from reflecting of oneself, and then there are peer group studies, and there are professors that would rate you on your leadership model. And I don't think that many big schools have that. And as you see that, because I want to get into the strategy side of it and consulting, so a lot of data, lot of organizational behavior, working across sectors and working across people. Since international is true, since INSEAD is truly international, INSEAD's MBA will cater to that in my case. So yeah.
That's terrific. And I think everyone, as you're kind of looking at this, what you can see is he's taking some of the things that he's kind of identified that he needs to improve upon while doing the MBA. And this is kind of starting to show you the idea of how you're taking, I need to learn this to succeed in my goals. And this is a particular item from the program. In this case, Shale was really emphasizing the PLDP. And this is something that is unique to INSEAD. So going through each of these, structured problem solving, building technical industry aligned knowledge. So for everything that you are trying to learn, you want to then have matched as many of the, to you, most exciting and most useful components of the program, and be able to explain that, right? Eventually, you're going to need to be able to explain in the essays and interviews why this is going to help you do whatever you're talking about. So with that, let me go on, Shale, to talking about what the kind of flip side of that. So what have you started already to see as opportunities for you to contribute to the INSEAD program?
So firstly, so I'm a native German speaker that I've picked it over 3 to 4 years. And as we know that at INSEAD, a fourth language is mandatory. So I firstly plan to give back to the community, or especially the students of INSEAD, by helping them with their language skills, because of course most of them would be recruiting in Europe and internationally. Secondly, as I'm associated with music since a very long time, and we all know that music has therapeutic effect to it, I also plan on creating small courses for the students that would help them cut down on their social sleep and the study pressure that usually comes with the MBA learning. And then I also want to promote the DEI through organizing events and maybe bringing towards all the communities together. At INSEAD, it would be the best challenge for me, because at INSEAD nobody is really a majority, everyone is a minority. So contributing or putting my DEI skills to practice would be very helpful for each and every one. And at last, I'm also a part-time content creator, and so I would want to give back to INSEAD by maybe being their digital ambassador. They have those things on LinkedIn where you can be their digital ambassador and elevate the presence and the star and the highlights of the school.
That's terrific for just a week, right? And so this is just the beginning, and already, this is an excellent start. So, here again, just pointing out exactly what you're seeing here. What's Shale's background? What are his, hard and soft skills? What are the extracurriculars, and how does that link to elements of the program itself? So, going on to your career strategy. Obviously, the whole other element is okay, I need to gain this, I need to give this, and then what are the specific career-oriented components that are going to help me, especially if it's a career shift, let's say, prepare and land that dream job. So, Shale, can you walk us through what you've already discovered?
So it came initially. I was thinking that when I joined INSEAD, and because it's known for consulting, I would just hit the door of the consulting club and I would be admitted. But after talking and networking to many the alumni of INSEAD Consulting Club, especially, I got to know that one must have good command over cases even before they get to the INSEAD. So I've started, casing, solving, and everything. So that would really get me edge to have my foot in the door. Firstly, in the consulting club, that I did not know, but I got to know because of networking, and so yes, and yes, that's all. Just
Okay, terrific. All right, with that, let me let Shale off the hook and switch over to Sarah here. So, other side of the world there. So, Sarah, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and say we're going to kind of go through the same thing with you.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Sarah. I'm currently in New York, but originally from Houston, Texas. I have been working in consulting since I graduated in 2022, and I mostly do consumer and private equity projects. So my short-term goal after business school is to return to consulting and kind of continue to build that skill set, especially as a manager. That's the level that I would return at, instead of like an individual contributor. Midterm goal would be to leave probably 2 to 5 years after business school, and go into industry. So I'm really interested in beauty, specifically within consumer. So a VP or SVP at a beauty firm. Or on the other side, I'm also very interested in entrepreneurship. So working at a startup or VC in the consumer space. So one of those two is kind of my midterm goal. And then long term, the dream has always been to launch my own company. So something in the beauty space, focused on female empowerment is kind of my idea right now. But generally, long-term goal is just to start a business.
Terrific. All right, so we'll go past Sarah's research doc again. Similar size at this stage. We'll grow by the day, and let's have you now address the things that you're hoping to build upon while you're doing your GSB MBA.
Yeah. So in terms of what I'm hoping to gain from GSB, the first is because I've mostly done strategy work at consulting, would love to get some more operational and kind of technical expertise that is required in an industry job. So that includes like operations within like a company versus kind of having that outside view as a consultant of a more broader view of just how the company works, just really understanding like the nitty gritty of how does a company run day to day. Second is GSB is really known for their entrepreneurship opportunities. So things like Startup Garage, Lean Launchpad, and the Stanford Venture Studio would really help me kind of solidify what I'm thinking for a potential business and just kind of get those reps in and practice like prototyping and learning about how to launch a business from the ground up. That's kind of related to the D School as well, that third point right there. D School is kind of more around like human-centered design and designing products that are made for consumers. So that I think just having those cross-functional classes between the D School and GSB would be a really interesting way to just think about how to design a product. And then lastly, kind of more related to my short-term goal of returning to consulting at a manager level, I want to work on kind of my leadership skills and emotional intelligence, and just being a better manager when I do return to my previous job. Sorry, Jesse. I don't know if it's just me, but I can't hear you. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
just-
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, sorry. Why don't you go ahead and walk us through now what you're hoping to kind of give to the Stanford community?
Yeah. So in terms of what I would like to do and give back to the Stanford community, first is I would love to be involved in the Women in Management Club. I do some volunteering around, again, this idea of female empowerment and like helping women navigate their careers. So I'd love to continue to do that in this club, finding mentors and mentees and just sharing our, I guess, shared interests and goals. Second is I have 3 years of experience in consumer and private equity, so would love to just join the Consumer Retail Club and hear from other peers, maybe in the fashion world instead of the beauty world, and just kind of share our ideas and, again, our experiences and what we hope to get out of GSB, and maybe even find some potential co-founders. Third is kind of similar to my previous point on leadership and emotional intelligence. The Arbuckle Fellows Program is very big at Stanford. Touchy Feely is one of the most popular classes around kind of that emotional intelligence, and Arbuckle Fellows are the ones who lead those classes. And so you work with the team of like 12 first years and have a semester with them around these classes centered around emotional intelligence. Fourth, in terms of clubs, would also be interested in DEI programs as well, like the Asian Student Business Association. I also grew up dancing, so would love to join the dance club, and that also has kind of that cultural view of having different types of dances, different types of cultures within the dance club, and Stanford is known for being very diverse as well, so excited for that. And then lastly, would love to do some volunteering with the alumni consulting team post-grad, actually, and giving back to my community in the Bay Area by providing pro bono consulting services to these nonprofit organizations.
All right. Well, you and Shale have done a fabulous job for just a week here. This is already quite a good detail. So let's go on then to the career strategy.
Yes, in terms of career strategy, I think a lot of these points are just centered around the idea of hopefully starting my own business and building the foundation for that at GSB. So Startup Garage is very much prototyping and really creating a potential first product. The Stanford Venture Studio is more of kind of a community around learning from other founders, even alumni founders who have gone on and successfully started their own businesses. And then taking those classes such as entrepreneurial finance and Lean Launchpad, and really just learning what you need to know and what I don't know in terms of building my own business if I were to do it right now. So just learning from those professors and people who have gone through the whole process. And then lastly, would love to be able to explore some summer internships within these startup VC environments.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Well, that was great from both of you. I really appreciate it, and we'll bring you back towards the end for any questions people have as well. And hopefully, just in hearing Shale and Sarah talk that through, you start to get the idea of, they're doing this research, and you can hear that even now, 1 week into the research process, they're able to articulate a lot of specifics, right? Whereas many people might be, using the most general kind of versions of what the school is known for and those kind of things. So it's really on the right track already. So coming back more to the kind of outreach, and this, as I was saying, is just unbelievably important. And I wanted to mention that from here on, the references that you're going to see in the examples are related actually to LBS, the London Business School. And this is because when I did this last time, Alana that was one of the schools that she was targeting. So we're going to just keep the examples that I'd prepared for that, and it will give you just one more kind of school's perspective. So as far as targeting, of course, LinkedIn is, your best friend, as well as going to the school and seeing if they have a school ambassadors program, right? Those are definitely your starting points. With LinkedIn, the free version will get you, a little bit, but if you can afford it, I highly, highly, highly recommend paying for the premium or even the sales navigator, which is a little bit more, but you get to contact anyone. You can send, in mails and various things like this that will make it much more effective and efficient to contact them. So who are you targeting? Many people take a shotgun approach and they just start like, okay, you're an alumni from Stanford. I'm going to send invites to 100 of you, and some of you will respond, and I'll get to have conversations and learn something about Stanford. Instead of that, be really strategic in your targeting so that you are getting the most benefit for your time and for their time. And if you do this, it will also increase dramatically the likelihood that they will respond to you, because they will understand why you are contacting them. Like there's some logic that you can explain to them, even just in your connect request. So for me, the dream alumni or student that you're reaching out to is someone who has had a similar path, so that you can really learn how they utilize the program to get where you are trying to go. And this will also help you demonstrate to the school the believability of your goals, right? And whatever you're saying. This becomes especially important, again, when you're talking about a career change where they're maybe less confident that you will land the job they hope and have the high salary they want to show up on the rankings. So look at your history. So, you're coming from, consulting, you're coming from one of the MBBs. Okay, great. Plug that in. Now, whatever school you're targeting, okay, Stanford is the school they went to. So you're looking for alumni from GSB. And now what's your immediate short-term goal, including companies, right? So okay, this is where I'm trying to go, this company, this industry. Search for those, and then start reaching out to those people after, do some research on them, see if you can find commonality, see if you find things that you have already researched that you immediately see they experienced. And then these are things that are going to be opportunities to engage with them and show them that you can have a meaningful conversation. What I also recommend is go with every stage of your career. So think of your short term, think of your midterm, and think of the dream, and reach out to people at those various stages. As you get to the midterm and the dream, the long term, the kind of difficulty of talking to these people obviously gets more and more difficult. Now you're maybe talking CEOs potentially at the dream stage, and you will be surprised that if they match, if they make sense for you, if you can explain a reason that it's logical for them to be willing to have an initial conversation with you, you will occasionally even get a famous name to respond and end up having a coffee chat. So don't be afraid, just put yourself out there. And just to start giving you an idea of how this is going to come into the applications and interviews. So just examples here. One of my goals, and actually this is Sarah's goal as well at GSB, is to lead Women in Business Club. And I spoke to so-and-so, who's the current president, and they confirmed I'm a great fit and explained the process, right? So you wanted to know, how do I even become president? Different schools have different processes for this. I won't go through the whole thing, but you kind of see another example. You're referencing a conversation, but you're then bringing in what you learned. You're not just trying to name drop. You're not just kind of saying, hey, I spoke to 1 million people, yay me. You're trying to then bring them in as powerful and persuasive voices that are at the same time demonstrating your commitment to the school and your vision for how you're going to successfully navigate the program. This is kind of, to me, almost a secret that I don't think many people even kind of think about, which is this process puts you in a position to try to contact alumni and current students from any of your target schools. And they've all been through the exact same process. So this is part of the reason that many people will respond to you and will be willing to talk to you. Whereas if you weren't in the process and you reached out to them now, a lot of these people, wouldn't respond. So after you're admitted, you only have your school's network that you can be, really kind of pushing. So at this stage, it's the networking opportunity of a lifetime. And it can end up with benefits in countless ways in the application process and far, far beyond. In the application process, there's possible letters of support. That can be especially helpful if you end up getting waitlisted. You might find mentors, you might find people who had similar paths who will kind of roll their sleeves up and start actually trying to help you actively in the process. You'll find potential internships and even potential job opportunities for coming out the other side. So we'll get in a little bit now to how you're kind of integrating. So just a couple examples of how you're integrating this research into essays and interviews. So I won't go on here. I've kind of already talked about that. So I'll just give you a couple examples, and this is the kind of thing I do really see every day. This example of what I would say would be a rejected kind of sentence from an essay. I'm excited about LBS's strong, amazingly diverse community. Everyone knows this. It's the first thing that it's first line on their website, right? A better example, I'm particularly drawn to LBS because 94% of students are international, representing 60 plus countries. I've spoken to more than 20 alumni, and they all said this diversity was embodied in their study groups where they built lifelong friendships. So I think you can probably immediately see the kind of good and bad between those. Here again in the interview, which I'm going to bring in Howard, another client, in a minute to talk some about this. So here again, you can have a very generic answer, or in the example answer here, I won't go through the whole thing, but you can just start seeing these are very specific ideas that, in this case, Alana had identified and was able to eventually talk to her interviewers about. So getting down to that's kind of, I'm happy we'll have a good amount of time for Q&A and talking things through. And I wanted to maybe first bring in Howard. I think you are here. Howard and I also met at the first version of this event back in end of, I think, July last year, and became a client shortly after that. And he's now we're finally at the end of the process and deciding between Kellogg, Tuck, and waiting to hear from MIT actually 2 days from now. So Howard, I'd love to have you jump in and, as someone now who began where everyone that's viewing this maybe is, or a lot of them, and kind of talk through what happened from this stage and what you did and how you were able to really powerfully incorporate everything you learned both into your essays and into your interviews.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Introduce yourself first. Sorry, I'm getting.
Yeah, hello everyone, I'm Howard, and I am currently work in in-house strategy team in an e-commerce company in Taiwan. Yeah, and like what JC have said, I have been admitted to Kellogg and Tuck and waitlisted by Sloan and waiting for the result next week. And my post-MBA goal is to become an impact consultant. So I have been researching on school in the US. Yeah, so my target is the top 15 MBAs in the US, especially M7 schools. Yeah, and during that time, I have quite busy with my work. So I've been looking for admission consultant to help me. And like what JC has shared, last July, I attended the session hosted by JC. And after the talk with him, I decided to partner with JC for my MBA journey. And that's really important. Yeah, because at that time, didn't have much time to apply for my round one MBA. Yeah, and like JC have shared, like researching the school and the networking is really important for the MBA application. So I've seen a lot of applicants' documents with many pages, and I just checked my research for catalog, and I saw that there's 33 pages for my catalog research, and that really helped me a lot for my essay interviewed, and even a coffee chat with the alumni. Yeah, and research can really cover from a lot of things, like from curriculum to extracurricular. That they help me a lot to find the specific part about the school and help me to know more about the school. So when I started to reach out to alumni and the current students, I also use that to make my linking requests to those alumni specific enough so that they will be interested in having the coffee chat with me. Yeah. And I want to give an example of my my coffee chat with Kellogg's alumni, and I would say that helped me a lot for my interview with the Kellogg. So at that time, I discussed with the JC a lot about the leads of the Kellogg's alumni that I want to target. And since I want to become an impact consultant, so we specifically target those alumni and current students with the background experience in sustainability and social impact. So I then make a request to a Kellogg's alumni and instantly get her acceptance to my coffee chat. And through the interview, I share a lot about my point of view about the sustainability. And I think she gave me also a lot of things about Kellogg's specific resources about the sustainability. And then I even share my interviewer's name with her. And then she mentioned that, oh, she knew my interviewer. She could give me a lot of sharing about her specific background, what kind of question I could raise during the Q&A in the interview. So as I remember during the interview, I indeed raised the questions specific to the interviewers. That's because of the help of my coffee chat's current students. And then I would say this kind of change is not it's kind of rare. Yeah, so you will never know that what will happen in the interviews. So, but JC helped me to become more specific and goal-oriented to target the specific people and the school's resources. So I think that's the reason why I'm kind of prepared to take every challenge and any kind of the difficulty that I cannot expect. Yeah, so that's very helpful. And yeah, that's my sharing. Thank you, JC. Hey, JC, I think you mute your microphone.
Sorry, I was sipping coffee and not wanting to have that. So yeah, sorry, Shale and Sarah, I wanted to hear from you a bit about what this initial research experience has been like in the last week, and kind of where you see it taking you from here.
Yes, so for me, this research has actually been like essay drafting, where one must know their past, present, and so that they can go into the future. Similarly, when it comes to school research and networking, when you gave me the template, I could actually reflect on my past doings and the present, and which sort of gave me a canvas for me to look forward and, find those very specific questions that I can use in my insights in my networking. So I think that very eye opener, just like a brainstorming session. So I think your template was like a brainstorming session for me.
Oh,
So,
nice. How about you, Sarah?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was just helpful to kind of start that reflection process of why is this my top school and what can I bring and what can I get from it. Definitely more to be done, but I thought the template was great and really thinking about those classes that I want to take and things like that.
Awesome. All right. Well, good. Well, we're going to get into Q&A for the remainder of the time, but just to share a few things, I'm actually considering doing like a very small workshop, a paid kind of work group class based on this. So if anyone's interested in that idea, then just send me a message. It's not definite yet, and I'd actually love to hear how you feel I might be able to help you the most. So this is a concept I'd like to do, but let me see if anyone's interested. Just send me a message. And if you are interested in working together, I'd be happy to talk about it. And if you're looking ahead to round 1 of next year, my availability is starting to fill up. So please get in touch. If you need help round 3, interviews, any kind of last minute services, get in touch as well. And if you message me, I will be happy to send you the template that we were talking about, as well as a 10% coupon for any of my services. And before we get to giving away the 1 hour free coaching with me, after the session, I hope you've really found everything useful. As you hope you can see, work really hard to try and make this valuable to everyone. And after hanging up, it'll give you, thumbs up and 5-star rating, and a quick comment would be really, really helpful and appreciated. That's shameless plug. And lastly, let's see, let me pick the person. Somebody give me a letter. I have a system for picking, but I need a letter. Anyone put a letter in the first letter in the chat is going to decide. Anyone, any letter? S. Okay. All right. We have. That will mean Salorm. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I'm sorry if I'm massacring it. But Salorm, if you can message me later, then I'll be happy to arrange that with you. So thanks very much. And let me start taking questions, and you can ask me questions, and you can certainly ask Shale or Sarah or Howard as well. Feel free to come off mute if you want to. Any questions? Can shoot them in the chat if you don't want to speak.
So, Jess, I have a question. If
Sure,
I
sure,
may.
of course.
Okay, there's one
I
from
see.
AR.
Yeah, go ahead, Arzan.
Hi, Jesse. Thanks a lot for this. I did have one question. It's twofold to Shailesh, Sarah, and Howard. A quick question: when you reach out to folks, and I noticed this because I tried about a year ago. When you reach out and you mentioned something about reaching out and going to an event, and you probably meet some folks as well. A, do you stay in touch? And B, how do you stay in touch with these folks that you've probably met? Maybe alumni, maybe someone else. Maybe you probably met a faculty at one of their speaking events or something of that sort. Do you stay in touch, and how do you stay in touch? The second part actually is just related to the curriculum. Jesse, you mentioned something in terms of download the curriculum, take a look at it. But most first-year students, most students that I've spoken with have actually mentioned something to the tune of, okay, in the first year you probably don't get to pick your classes. So Shailesh and Sarah, you guys mentioned you had a very specific piece on that. Well, what's your take on asking those different questions, especially if you're looking at first years, basically like, you don't have a choice. But like, how did you land up navigating that process?
Yeah. So I will take the first half of the question, Hazan. Like, how do I stay in touch? I do stay in touch shamelessly, or as much as I can. Firstly, whenever I approach someone, my the template that I use is super niche, like Jess said, that trace people who have followed your career trajectory and want to and are where you see yourself after 2 years. Secondly, when if they happen to respond to me, I always follow up by maybe saying thank you, and I keep a close watch on them over LinkedIn. And if there's any notification from them, I always engage with their content. And secondly, if someone is not able to help me as much as I want from them, I always shoot them a message by saying thank you. And second is, could you connect me with someone who had the career aspiration as me? Like if I am going to some, for example, if I contacted someone who is a venture capitalist, maybe asking them to give me leads on someone who is a consultant. So that's how I do it. And even if, I always make sure that even if they don't respond to me, I always make them feel as if I am, I'm left, right, around. I'm always around them. So I don't care if they whatever they think of me, but I try to show them my digital presence.
I'll jump in just one other thing you were asking about. You were saying you've talked to a lot of students, and they're saying in the first year you don't have a lot of choice. Depending on the program, yes, most programs have some type of core, right, that you are required. However, there's still tons of other things that are optional. I mean, clubs, events, treks, exchanges. So, and even the core things, think about what's important to you, right? You're not going to get certain things are going to be valuable from certain core courses to you, and you're going to be valuable to your classmates in other core courses as well. So kind of think of it that way.
That makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Jesse. Thanks, Jesse.
What else? Any other questions, anyone? We've got about 7 minutes, or we can wrap up if there's nothing else, but.
Just so I have a question. Like you said that whenever we use this template, we'll have a lot of benefits. My question is that as we know that this template can run into many pages, so ideally, like for how many schools should one, create such templates? Because
Good question. I suggest one per school, and the whole front section is going to be the same. Like everything about you overall is going to be the same, and it's just the school information that's going to change. And as I kind of put in the template, which maybe I can actually put that on screen in just a second, I suggest adapting it however is best for you. So like this is in a Word document, but you can change things to Excel. You can do whatever you want to fit your own style. So don't feel like this is what you have to work with. And why don't I let anyone ask any other questions? And just while we're doing that, I'll go ahead and put on screen for a minute an example of that. So go ahead, anyone has other questions while I switch screen sharing. Very sorry about that. My system I closed me out, so I apologize for that. Did I miss any question while I'm then again trying to load? Oh, chat 1 second. Bear with me. Okay, yeah, there we go. All right, so this will just kind of start letting you see an overview. Got some basic instructions at the beginning, and then first section is starting to go through all of your background information, like we were talking about goals, putting together weaknesses, extracurriculars, thinking about what you can contribute, gain. This is all Sarah's here. And then starting to get into more of the specifics of the school. And I'll show down here. Now you're getting into the area of like the specifics to each school. So deadlines, information on the alumni networks, any information you need to have on admissions, and then finally get into all of the questions you're going to answer. And now we're into the program structure. So this is the area where I'm talking about really mapping out your vision for your full time in the program. So you're going to adapt this to the exact calendar of your school. So this is just an example. Year one, you're going to put this in, and I've tried to give you some ideas of what you're going to be looking for in each kind of category. Same thing. So I've kind of got it. Every category you would need to think about is here. So any questions on that? Otherwise, we can start heading towards wrapping up. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. I really, really appreciate everyone coming, and a huge thanks to Shale and Sarah and Howard. I really appreciate your time and energy, and I hope it was helpful for you as well. So I hope to hear from you offline. Happy to chat. Thanks again, and I hope to see you at my next event. Bye.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.